All right, 2022, new year, same me. Let's talk about stuff. So this is my monthly Q&A video. If you don't know how these go down, I take questions from the previous month's Q&A video. So for this video, if you want your question answered in the next one, just leave a comment, ask me whatever. These are fun, lighthearted ways. I don't know. I feel like we can relate to each other a little bit more. Get to talk about stuff I don't usually get to talk about in the main videos, either on here or Game Ranks. So yeah, drop me a line. I take questions from those comments, and I also take them from Patreon supporters and YouTube member backers. Thank you all for having my back, whoever you are, but let's just jump in. The first question is from Dean, a YouTube member, who asks, hi Jake, do you feel game developers aren't taking as many risks as in the past? Do you feel they play it safe with remasters and sequels and remakes? Are you looking for something genre defining? Now, on the one hand, I can agree with, well, sequels are always going to be a thing. It is what it is. That's a whole other video. But in terms of remakes, I will say, specifically, yes, more recently, there is a rise of remakes of games. Totally. I think it's partially, yes, the publishers being like, hey, we want your money, buy our game again. But I think it's also, the exchange of generations and platform holders and digital ownership and things being messy. I'm not saying that makes it right, but I think it's just a complicated mess. In terms of looking for something genre defining or looking at other things like I hate sequels, I hate remakes, I hate reboots, that mentality, I think you're almost setting yourself up for failure. What I like to do is just sit back and know that eventually a new thing is going to come along that's going to blow us all away. It happens in movies, it happens in games. Something every so often comes around that changes the game, changes the conversation, changes the playing field, the industry, whatever. I think I actually screenshotted another question here that I can jump into to tackle it in a different way later on. But really, I don't sit around waiting for the next big thing. I just put my faith in knowing it's eventually going to happen. And you can't predict that stuff. You can't bet on that stuff. You really shouldn't. Ooh, David asks, how would you like to see a modern day Max Payne be made? I personally have a lot of love for the games for their own reasons, but I'm curious as to what they'd take for the story and gameplay today. So here's the deal. I think this is a good question. Thank you. So this is tough, right? So Max Payne series is one of my favorites. I think a modern Max Payne honestly should embrace what made the original game so special. I absolutely love 3, but stylistically, Max Payne 3 was like a Michael Mann movie. It went for that type of style, but we really don't have any games that are in that noir graphic novel style, that gritty, hard-boiled stuff. Just the way they told those original stories in Max Payne 1 and 2, the atmosphere, the tone, the way it was all presented, everything is just something you don't see. At least you don't see it in mainstream games. There's a couple of indie games that do try and run on that feel, and I really appreciate it. One of them, I believe I'm going to be talking about a lot more this year. It's called El Paso Elsewhere, and I like that they're taking some of that vibe. But for a new Max Payne, I do think that it would stand out more now if it does go back to its original style. I also think gameplay-wise, Max Payne 3 proved that it's good, it's fresh. I think that game plays really, really well. It controls incredibly well while still making you feel a little real, giving you some of that weight. And I think what you can at least say, oh, that's not going to sell. It totally is. The biggest game ever in the freaking world is Grand Theft Auto 5, a game where your character is a chunky character that has weight and it has that physics engine behind it. Another one of the biggest games ever, Red Dead Redemption 2. It's slow, it's deliberate in its movement. They have control schemes very similar to Max Payne. So honestly, with gameplay, I'd say keep it going. I want crazier set pieces. I want wild moments, good level design, and then, jumping back to story, I don't know what I would want. I wasn't really the happiest with how Max Payne 3 ended, so I don't know. It could be like a Metal Gear Solid 4 situation where it's oh my God, they're bringing him back again. He's so old. Who knows? Direct Jones asks, there's so much focus on AAA games. I'd like to know what your top 3 indie underrated games are of this year. So I did put out my favorite games of 2021 list, and I admitted that there were not a lot of indie games on it. And usually I have time to play a couple more throughout the year. This year I didn't. I was a little bummed about that. But in terms of smaller games, the one I highlighted on my 2021 thing, which I'll definitely break out more here, is The Artful Escape. a game where at its first glance I was like, I don't know about that. But I just love those games where it's like a 2D adventure where it's not too intense, but it's more just like this incredible experience visually, musically, and some fun gameplay stuff. You know, the way that this whole game is structured around this weird David Bowie space odyssey type of thing where you're this kid trying to discover who he wants to be. He's a musician, but he doesn't know how to present himself. And it's like a weird, trippy journey of self-discovery where you're in space and you're guitar soloing with aliens. It's sick. I really love it, and I didn't expect it. Also, this is like a side note, and it got Game of the Year awards. It's not like indie or underrated or anything, but this year, I finally did get time to dive deep into Hades, and it is awesome. I'm not really like a New Year's resolution type person. I kind of just want to keep staying alive and paying my bills. But I would like to try and make sure I play more indie games in 2022 because I fucked up for 2021. Rocheman, YouTube backer and longtime backer. Thanks, man. It says, if you were given a blank check to make a Star Wars game, what genre would it be and what era would you set it in? People come to Star Wars for different things. I've said this before. People love different aspects about Star Wars. Some people love, the space battles, the spaceships and all that. Some people like the cool planets. Some people like the smugglers and the bounty hunters. Some people just love how evil the Sith are. And some people love just Jedi shit. For me personally, that's my favorite thing about Star Wars. That's what I come to for it. I was originally just into the Skywalker tale, the whole thing, prequels and all. So I hate to say it, but man, if I had a blank check to make a Star Wars game, I wouldn't mind filling in the blanks of Luke Skywalker after Return of the Jedi. Now, the books, which aren't canon anymore, have really done that. Little things here and there. Comic books have fleshed it out. But I think a game would be a great way to tackle it with an infinite budget. And I think specifically with The Mandalorian Season 2 and the Luke Skywalker appearance, and it seems like Disney is going to keep doing stuff like that, I think that's like a dangerous line to walk because it's like we're not even really looking at real people and it's still like, it's like really good, but it's not quite there. So like you can't do a whole show about fake Luke, right? But you know where it works perfectly? A video game. I'd said the same thing about the Indiana Jones movie where they're like there's talk about them de-aging him or whatever. Just throw Harrison Ford's ass in a video game where it's way better to have a de-aged person because it's a video game. Nothing matters. So I would really like to do a Star Wars game of, Luke on adventures, Luke building up that Jedi temple, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, toyed with that a little bit, but like, I don't know, now with a crazy budget, you could do so much cool shit. I am talking way too long about this one, but thank you. Gorilla Zoo asks, Jake, have you ever had, or what are your thoughts on Detroit-style deep dish pizza? And what is your favorite regional food outside of New York? For the second part, I'll answer that first. There may be places in New York that maybe I'm missing, but I've always found that on the West Coast, you can get pho, and it's really good. That's like a Vietnamese soup that is good as hell. But in terms of the Detroit-style deep dish pizza question, yes, massively underrated. I actually think the Detroit-style deep dish, I like it. I mean, I've dunked on Chicago-style deep dish before, but I think Detroit style pizza is massively underrated. The way it's made is it's in a pan. They say it got the term from like Detroit, the auto industry, oil pans, like these flat pans for drainage and stuff. Flat pan, it's almost like a Sicilian style slice, but with cheese baked in around the sides, giving you this like cheesy, crunchy crust, but not like in a tacky, shitty way, in like a classy way. And I love it. I love it so much. There's actually a place here on Long Island that kind of has been trying to like put that out there more. And that's pretty ballsy to do in New York, but I really like it. Funky Blink says, seeing that hot dog makes me want a PMI reunion with Eric and Mike. So this hot dog is from the old days of Pretty Much It, a goofy comedy movie, whatever, entertainment channel I used to fuck around with my friends. Now Pretty Much It has flourished as a movie commentary channel. It's so funny. It's hilarious what Eric is doing with everybody. So just quick opportunity to plug myself. Eric and Mike and I have reunited many times before in the last year or so. We've done quite a few commentary tracks together. Back to the Future 3, some more Spider-Man movies, Spiral, the Saw movie. And I'm not going to like really super toot my own horn, but like with those guys, I am incredibly proud of those. I'll link some of them down in the description below, like the preview videos. You might have some fun. It's what I used to do. I used to just watch movies and yell at the screens with my friends, and it was fun. And it's kind of why, it's kind of how I'm here now. Elder, shout out to him, asks, my only question relates to the Splinter Cell news. This new Splinter Cell announced being a fully revamped remake of the first game. Wishful wants and realistic expectations. The game's gonna have NFTs in it. Nah, that's such a low-hanging fruit joke. I'm not gonna do it. So I didn't necessarily want a remake. I teeter back and forth with like, the first game, has aged not the best, but I still think it's pretty damn good and pretty playable. I don't know it's hard. And like, is Ironside going to come back, right? If they're going to remake it, I don't know. Are they going to, so there's so much. I'm stumbling through it because I'm off the cuff right now, but I think, and I've touched upon this on the Friday show when the news broke 2-3 weeks ago, but the big question is like modern Ubisoft. I don't know. There's something about it that does feel like they're just like, oh yeah, here's a blog post announcement while you guys are all pissed off at us about something else. So I'm going to hope for the best. I'm going to keep my expectations low, but there are some really fantastic levels and encounters in the first game that I really hope a remake can not lose sight of. And if anything, only enhance. Eric on Patreon, thank you for your question, asks, I was wondering if you've seen the Daredevil show and what you think of all the Charlie Cox news or rumors of him returning as the character. I'm going to be weird. You guys, I don't know. Unless you watch me on Pretty Much It, I love the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. Like kind of ironically, but not really. Like mostly just real. I think it's good. I mean, it's like corny, but it's good. I mean, like it's not like a perfect representation of the character, but it's still kind of good and cool. I don't know. Anyway, I think Charlie Cox is like the actual real good dad. Like there's a reason why everybody loves him. Also, I think the show is incredible. It's got a couple little like weak spots here and there, but I think mostly it is like top tier, one of my favorite shows ever. Like it's really up there. Also, I'll take this time here to say, have you watched season 3 yet? Because everybody in real life that I talk to, and they're like, oh yeah, Daredevil, I fucking love Daredevil, bro. And I'm like, oh, did you watch season 3? And they all go, nah, I haven't. What are you doing? Season 3 does a great job at kind of wrapping up the character, especially because it was like after that, it was like, nope, that's it. We're not making anymore. I thought it was a decent way of kind of wrapping things up. And I thought it was a good kind of come around for the Matt Murdock character that they set up here. That's besides the point. Watch the show, read more comic books. Ilucho asks, why did you never make a video on Death Stranding on this channel? Funny that you asked that. This channel now has been going consistently the longest it ever has. This channel has been around since forever, almost since as long as I've been making YouTube videos. I was called Because Video Games at first, and now it's just called my name. But I was never consistent with it because I was always, working on Pretty Much It or like trying to get a real YouTuber or video game man job in the industry. Then eventually GameRanks started to grow. So it was always like ups and downs, and I would be consistent with it for like a year, or I'd be consistent with it for 6 months and I'd drop off. So I've been going for a while now, and Death Stranding just fell in one of those lulls. So this channel has been going consistently now since 2020, but Death Stranding came out towards like the end, I believe, of 2019. So it just missed I missed it. So I love Death Stranding. I think it's really, really good. Some of it's very bad, actually, but most of it's really good. And I give it so many points for just being weird and doing weird things. Craig asks, what are your thoughts on Fortnite? Do you or have you ever played it? Fun fact about me, I have barely played Fortnite multiplayer. I dove in deep to the Save the World mode. That was when Fortnite originally launched. It was like the player versus, it was like a PvE thing, like base building, like, oh no, Nightfall, oh, here come the zombies, like that thing. That's how the game really launched. And then very quickly after that, it came out with the Battle Royale mode, and then that changed everything, and that's the Fortnite that you know today. So I played a lot of Save the World mode, didn't think it was the best thing in the world. But here's the thing with Fortnite. I think Fortnite is so incredibly important, obviously, for the weird, crazy things it does, the genre-bending things it does, just its mainstream popularity and bringing more people into gaming. Case in point, you might hate Fortnite, but like I have a cousin who is a little girl who just plays Fortnite, and I think Fortnite's stupid, but she's played Fortnite so much, it was almost like a gateway drug into her getting older and playing more games and checking things out. And now I'm helping her build a PC. And with that PC, she's going to play more than Fortnite. And she has interest in other games. So I think that's a win. But Fortnite really is a learning lesson for don't ever write anything off, really. It's hard. Like now I'm always so like, I don't know, guys. Like even when Anthem was bad and nobody liked it, they were trying to bring it back to life. And I was like, I don't know, guys, it could happen. I was wrong on that front, but I still like playing it safe because Fortnite shocked all of us. Fortnite was a laughing stock for so long and how it was announced and completely disappeared. It was gone for a while. Like, you know, I like knew a person that worked at Epic and I'd be like, hey, what's up with Fortnite? And, you know, they would just be like, oh man, you know. And then it came out, and then it was like, haha, it's not that great. What the fuck? And then it came out with the Battle Royale mode, and then everyone was like, haha, it's copying PUBG. And then now look. So with that, let's wrap it up. I actually didn't get to as many questions as I wanted to, but I think your questions were really good. And they let me just ramble on for a while. So thank you. So shoot anything else you got for me, anything you'd want to hear me talk about in the world, down in the comments. Just don't ask me about my credit score. I'm just having fun here. I hope you're having fun. I'm talking about what I love. If you appreciate this type of stuff, clicking the like button's all you got to do. I think that still works. It helps me out. So thank you. But I'm Jake Baldino. Subscribe because of video games. Pizza's on me.